Welcome back. Now, Karnataka is jolted by another land scam, even as the Congress government is reeling under the Muda scam allegations where the Chief Minister is in the dock. The BJP has accused the Congress government of another scam, and this time it has dragged in Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and his family. The BJP has questioned the grant of a Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board site to a trust run by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's family in March 2024. And that brings us to the question on the land scam files of the Karnataka government. But first, let's also break down this entire row over 5 acres of land at an aerospace park which has been allotted to the Kharge family in Bengaluru. The land has been allotted to a trust that's managed by Kharge's son, Rahul Kharge. Kharge's son has been granted 5 out of 45.94 acres of land that was set aside for civic amenities site, this under the scheduled caste quota. BJP has questioned the legitimacy of Kharge family's eligibility for land. The BJP has accused Congress government of misusing power and nepotism. Karnataka government has rejected these claims. It says that allotment was done as per the rules. And that brings us to the question that we are probing on Karnataka, the land scam files. Can Congress finally come clean on the big charge?
आरटीआई के आधार पर कलेक्ट किए हुए डॉक्यूमेंट के आधार पर गवर्नर को माननीय राज्यपाल जी को उन्होंने शिकायत लगाई है। उसमें कुछ 20-25 प्रॉपर्टी की लिस्ट है जो गलत अलॉट हुई, इलीगल अलॉट हुई, उनका ये कहना है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि जब ये इलीगल का आरोप उस पर लगा हुआ है और मान्यवर खरगे जी की फैमिली का इसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट, एक तो इसकी निष्पक्ष जांच होना चाहिए।
We had requested a CA site as per the norms for educational purposes, for developing skill development centers in the region of emerging technologies in the area of aerospace.
And joining me on the debate today is Mr. G.S. Prashant, who's a spokesperson for Karnataka BJP, Mr. Dhruv Jatti, who's a spokesperson of the Congress Party, and Mr. B.S. Arun, who's a senior journalist. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Dhruv, of course, I'd like you to set the tone of this debate. The big question that, as you heard, is being posed by Leher Singh Saroya is, of course, was the adequate work done by an MB Patil? How could he even grant the allotment of such land? Was adequate procedure followed or not?
So, from whether it is our welfare schemes in the state that benefits lakhs of people from the backward communities, to today's allegation that the Bharatiya Janata Party goes on to make towards a skill development center in the field of aerospace, which would have benefited those from the backward communities. It looks like the Bharatiya Janata Party has learnt literally nothing. And to be fair enough, this isn't about the Siddhartha Trust or Rahul Kharge or Mallikarjun Kharge ji. This is more about an agenda that the Bharatiya Janata Party has against those the backward communities. And this, in fact, is a question that the Bharatiya Janata Party
Fair enough, fair enough.
In front of the people.
But
what
it
they
is
have
definitely
done.
about
No,
Kharge,
my
his
question-
family, his sons, and
Mr. Prashant, I will come to you.
I will come to the merits of the case. No,
Right.
I will come to the merits of
But
the case.
Mr. Jatti,
Akansha,
while
please.
you answer that, I just want you to keep in mind why only the Kharge family. Fair enough, it was allotted under the scheduled caste quota. Why not have another scheduled caste family which perhaps was more in need of that land and could have done something bigger with that trust? Is this not nepotism justified if you are allotting this, and does this not call for conflict of interest?
Not at all, Akanksha. Look at the merits of the case. What is it that exists against the Siddhartha Trust? Do they have any black mark against them? An institute, a trust, a public trust, in fact, that has been running for over more than 3.5 decades, that has nothing less than, in fact, pushed people from out of poverty in the state of Karnataka. Now tell me, in terms of the merit of the case, has there been any way malpractice has been functioned? Has there been any way that the government has leveraged power in order to give this trust to a particular organization? Please have a look at the land allocation. Look at the competitors that were involved in terms of... Yeah, so please do have a look at the competitors who were involved for this particular case.
That's the question
It
I'd
was-
like to pose.
No,
Okay, finish your
No,
point.
Akanksha, I would like to state one last point. Mr. Leher Singh, who has clearly come out and stated against, the whole, the backward communities of Karnataka. Where was he missing when the Karnataka BJP government went on to allocate an institute run by the RSS at an undervalued price that incurred a loss of more than 100 crores to the state? Why is it that these leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party come hopping on social media when anything is being done to the welfare of those that belong to the backward classes?
All right, Mr. Prashant, you heard that allegation, but in their defense, the Congress party and Mr. M.B. Patil, of course, have gone on record to say, and they have reasons to justify that this was done through a state-level single window committee, which, of course, as we all know, is also chaired by a chief secretary. So the recommendations were followed. Where's the problem? That's what perhaps everybody would want to know.
Akanksha, if Congress is trying to use the rule book, it is very clear that how the single level window clearance has worked, because the single window clearance will be headed by whom? The chief secretary. Who appoints chief secretary? The CM or his in consultation with ministers appoints chief secretary. So do you think the chief secretary will go against the CM
But
and
Mr.
the
Prashant,
CM's boss?
that's beyond you and me, because that's what the rules state, and that's what the ruls are for,
Akanksha,
allotment of land.
Let me come to that. See, this is now Mallikarjun Kharge, who claims to be the champion among Dalits and say that he is for the upliftment of Dalits. The least he should have done is not get the land allotted to his son, but get the same land allotted to one more scheduled caste entrepreneur who is a poor son of a farmer, to ensure that whom is it given to? The trust, where Kharge, his sons, his son-in-law, they are members and they become aerospace entrepreneurs. If this is not favoritism, what else is? And if Congress is trying to justify saying the rules were followed in such a way that only Mr. Kharge and his family will get benefit, and probably we don't know. Let Congress come out on record to show that how many advertisements were issued. Did they make any awareness drives to ensure to call out for scheduled caste people to come out for this? Whether this was really meant only for that? If it's a civic community site, how did it even get on to this particular thing? Let's examine the records. But what is the effort taken by Congress to ensure that the common people were aware of this particular notification? They've ensured that in a subtle manner that only Kharge's family has to benefit, and MB Patil probably would have cleared it in record time in March 2024, just before the election notification came. So therefore, this reeks of nepotism, and which Congress is known for. So it's not surprising that what Congress has done.
All right. I see Dhruv wants to come in. Dhruv, was there a notification in the newspaper, as is mandated also, whenever the CA sites are allotted? And that's a very valid concern, because you're not just looking at Rahul Kharge being allotted this land. We are seeing at a civic amenity land being allotted to the entire Kharge Parivar.
Akanksha, the Siddhartha Trust is a public trust. As of now, the Kharge family members may be the trustees of this trust, but even so, when or later, the trust will eventually continue and be passed on to other people.
But let's talk about the present. No, let's talk about the present. Let's not take aim in the dark to... Right, Mr. Prashant, let him speak. Let him make his point.
I listen to you patiently.
Yes, please don't speak over him.
You must listen to me patiently as well. I have a simple point to make. And this comes down to, when Mr. Prashant says it could have been allotted to anybody, in order to run a skill institute that is going to train people in aerospace, it cannot be allotted to anybody. It has to be given to a trust that has credibility in the field.
You're saying only Kharge's trust has got credibility.
Siddhartha Trust has credibility in the field. Now, it seems quite immature, the entire argument by the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they're running away from the main question. What are the objections that they have against the Siddhartha Trust? Is there any black dot in the trust's performance over the past 20, 30 years? Have they in any way in the public trust had any sort of malpractice? This is a trust that has gone on to help people from socially backward communities.
No, don't
Leher
keep
Singh,
repeating
along with
that.
the rest of
Dhruv,
the
I think
Bharatiya Janata
The
Party.
allotment has
Leher
happened in
Singh
March
along
of
with-
2024.
Leher Singh along with-
How has it
Leher
helped?
Singh, along with the rest of the Bharatiya
Let's
Janata
stick to
Party,
the land
must
allotment,
issue
not from
an
the time
apology.
it's been functioning or operating. Mr. B.S. Arun, I'd like to in fact refer to what the Karnataka High Court had to say back in September of 2023. It's gone on to say that sites for civic amenities like parks, healthcare, centers crucial in shaping quality of urban life cannot be sold.
Yes, I was coming to that point. In any case, Akanksha, the issue is there are a couple of other issues that I want to point out. And since you had asked this, I wanted to ask Jati as to what exactly the CA sites mean. Do they mean? Don't they mean that as Akanksha mentioned, that it refers to parks and public amenities like health, those issues for which the site should be given. Number one. Number two, instead of disclosing it to the media, what are the issues involved? Mr. Patil, the industry minister, should have perhaps also disclosed the details about how many applications were there, for this particular site, and when they were, received, by whom they were received, under what category they were received, and how many of them have been disposed of, and on what are the basis, what were the standards that were, adopted to select Mr. Kharge's, application, and what are the other qualities that and the previous experience that Mr. Kharge has had, in this field of aerospace, which is a very, very specialized, field. So these are some of the issues I feel the state government has to answer.
The other thing that I want you to focus on, the defense coming in from the Karnataka Congress is that Mr. Rahul Kharge is an IIT graduate. Does that make him meritorious enough for somebody to be allotted land from in an aerospace park?
A few years ago, when Mr. Anil Ambani started a company on these issues, aerospace and defense, eyebrows were raised, questions were asked as to why a company which has had no experience in this field should be given, this mammoth contract. So perhaps the same question may have to be answered by the state government as to what are the qualifications for this company for this trust to get, and what is the difference here? Is it a trust? Is it a company that has been given, this land? What are the basis for this? What are the guidelines that have been adopted?
Right.
Were these CA sites given earlier to similar trusts? I think all these questions need to be answered by the applicant, by the government.
I'd actually like Dhruv to respond to that. Dhruv, would you like to respond to what our honorable journalist over here on the panel has to say, Mr. B.S. Arun?
Yeah, sure. Respectfully, a couple of responses. To start with, this is a skill center that is in the field of aerospace, and the Siddhartha Trust has had a vast experience, many years of experience in skill development across Karnataka, and specifically even in Kalyan Karnataka's region. And this trust has been operating since the 1990s. So my question here, not to B.S. Arun, but to the Bharatiya Janata Party and to its MP, Mr. Leher Singh, is what are the objections that you have against this particular trust, and in what way is it so that it is bothering you that those from the social backward communities are, getting this type of skill development? Is there what is the merit that they have in which they raise these objections?
But what you fail to understand, Dhruv, I will give you the time to react. But Dhruv, you actually fail to understand that none of the Kharges are socially backward. And which is why we are raising the question that had that allotment gone to a genuine candidate who is genuinely socially backward, perhaps would have made greater sense. Prashant, please go ahead.
See, now instead of the Congress spokesperson answering the valid questions raised by P.S. Arun, he's trying to say it is not an objection, it's not on the Siddhartha Trust. Siddhartha Trust may be public trust and its affairs will be scrutinized by the income tax and cooperative societies if at all it's registered as a society. Be that as it may, we are not on the merits of the trust as such. We are always on the issue of Kharge's being the beneficiaries here. If Kharges have nothing to do with it, if it's really that somebody else is going to run, let all the Kharge family members come out of this and let the trust be run. They won't. They want this particular site under the Kharge family name only. They are not wanting to let any other poor SC/ST person do it. And let the Congress come out and display in Vidhan Sauda as to how many applications came and what was the which was the committee which looked into it, who scrutinized it, and how did they shortlist only Kharge's family to get this particular allotment under this scheduled caste quota. Because one of the clarifications that Congress is giving is, though it is under SC quota, they have paid the full price. Why? Why is that? If they are applying under SC quota, why will anybody make the payment under full quota? They will not. Which means there is already a scam underlying there. The Congress is trying to defend it, saying, look, it may be a SC case, but we are making the full payment. Why? It doesn't require. Just because you're making additional payment does not mean the allotment will stand the scrutiny of law.
Dhruv Jaggi, in the last 1 year of a tenure for the Congress government in Karnataka, we've seen a number of scams, whether it is the Valmiki scam case or the Muda scam case. This one certainly Congress cannot afford, and which is why it becomes even more pertinent when it's being asked of an MB Patil to perhaps come out in the open with all those applications of those who applied for the allotment of the civic amenity land.
To be more clear on what Mr. MB Patil had stated, and also there was a press conference held by our KPCC chief, Shri D.K. Shivakumar, and the Deputy Chief Minister.
Yes.
He himself has also clearly stated that more details on this case will be provided very soon. But the conscience of the Congress party is extremely clear, and I would like to reiterate this fact. If the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Prashant, I did not interrupt you when you spoke, and I think you're a mature spokesperson. You can listen to me speak. If the Bharatiya Janata Party,
when you're talking,
Mr. Prashant, I'll give you time to come up with a rebuttal.
If the Bharatiya Janata Party, if the Bharatiya Janata Party believes that there is any merit in this case, they can pursue this case through an RTI. They can raise this question in Parliament.
We cannot take it
They can raise this question in Parliament. But I am sure they are least interested in doing this. Because during their tenure, from the Vijayendra Service Tax, through the Contractors Association, through the Jolle Egg scam, through the Contractor Association scam, the Bharatiya Janata Party was muddled with scams altogether. What merit do they have?
People have given you the mandate to investigate. Investigate the scams. Let the truth come out.
The Bharatiya Janata Party is they dilute all debates this way.
Congress now has been caught in the corner when Siddaramaiah has to resign. D.K. Shivakumar already is involved in corruption charges, and now it's one more
I have an entire scam of more than 200 scams that are put together from the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this starts from Kajol scams, from Ramesh Jarkiholis.
Let your investigation team investigate it.
Let's speak.
You have a
why not
white
speak about the Bitcoin scam?
You investigate
Why
it.
not speak about the Bitcoin scam?
Investigate it, man. Come on. Put your investigating
Why not speak
agencies.
about
Let
the
them
Bitcoin scam?
investigate.
Exactly.
Let the
The same way.
In the same manner,
Mr. G.S. Prashant,
please
in the
investigate
same
this
manner, file
particular
an
allotment
RTI.
of CSI
In the
also.
same matter, in the
Please
same manner,
allow-
file an
please
RTI.
investigate
Raise the
this
question
site
in the Parliament.
allotment also.
The conscience of the Congress party is clear.
Conscience and Congress can never go together. Corruption and Congress can go hand in hand. Nepotism and Congress can go hand in hand. Conscience and
All right,
Congress can never go hand in hand.
Mr. G.S. Prashant,
no point.
whatever that Dhruv is highlighting right now, whether it is the corruption in the education department or the 40% commission charge we've seen come in, don't you think that the BJP currently is also on a sticky wicket, given those allegations and all those scams that have marred your own
Akanksha,
tenure?
let them investigate. We are saying people have given them the mandate. Let them investigate all that their Congress is saying that BJP is involved. Let them investigate. Truth will prevail. Whereas we are requesting, let them investigate the allotment of CSI. Muda scam. You can't set up one SIT and have a whitener erase a particular portion of the letter and release it selected to media. Everybody is aware what has happened in the Muda scam. The Valmiki scam, on the floor of the house, Siddaramaiah has accepted, saying, no, 187 crores may be mentioned, but according to me, only 89 crores has been siphoned off. On the floor of the house, a CM accepts that there is siphoning of money. So therefore, Congress is deep-rooted in corruption. The conscience of the Congress can never to have good governance, but only to indulge in corruption, nepotism, at the same time, appeasement politics.
Dhruv, the dust of the Muda scam has still not settled down, and that's why these questions are being raised, because they are all going by prima facie of the entire structure of the way this entire scam seems, because they're talking, we've already seen how there were fake certificates involved in the Muda scam, which is why now when it comes to the allotment of the civic amenity land is also going to be questioned all by prima facie evidence.
No, I think derailing from the subject is not the right thing, because the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson himself has not been able to answer the valid objections that I have.
You came up with skeletons from their closet. Skeletons from your closet will also tumble out. That's the nature of politics.
My question, I come back to my question from the beginning. Where are the valid objections? And I have a simple question to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Will the BJP MP Rajya Sabha, Mr. Laher Singh, apologize to every single Dalit and every single socially backward person in Karnataka once they get to know that there was no malpractice in this site, in the CA site allotment? It's a simple question that we have from the Congress party. Will there be an apology from the Bharatiya Janata Party's Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament? Because this
I'll answer
entire
that,
social media facade which they are running.
I'll answer that. I'm eager to answer that.
Sure, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Yes,
please go ahead.
We are awaiting apology from the Gandhi family for the darkest days imposed in Indian history, which is called emergency. We are awaiting an apology from Congress, especially Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi. Let them come and apologize. We are awaiting. The entire nation is awaiting Congress's first family apologize. Why are you riled up?
You seem to go back
why
to
are you riled up the moment
why don't you
Congress
go back
first family name is brought up? Let
instead?
Rahul Gandhi apologize for the deeds done by his grandmother. Let Sonia Gandhi apologize for the deeds done. Let them answer what they did during emergency. Let them talk about the amendments carried out illegally to the Constitution then. Congress has to apologize to the nation for having put India on Bharat through emergency.
Will Mr. Laher Singh raise an apology to every single socially backward
record and apologize. We are awaiting for the past 50 years.
All right. It's just very unfortunate that we have digressed and indulged in cherry picking and whataboutery without coming upon any solid conclusion. I leave Mr. B.S. Arun to come up with a conclusion. Mr. Arun, please help in deducing a conclusion. Also, do place this into perspective. Is it fair to in fact resort to how this land, anybody who raises questions about the civic amenity land allotment is anti-Dalits or anti-backward? Because I don't see the Kharges as backward socially.
No, I think it's the instead of this particular applicant, I think since the already the Siddaramaiah government has been hurtling from one controversy to another. In the last about 3 weeks, we have seen besides the Muda issue, the land being given at a throwaway price to a steel company, and also now this the Kharge land issue has come up. I think the government, since the issue has erupted into a big controversy, the government must immediately come out with those answers to those questions as to what is a CA site and should a CA site be given for a skill development company instead of parks and other civic amenities like health. That is number one. Number two, how many applications were there? How many applications were there from the the socially backward communities, and whether they were considered? If they were considered, what were the criteria why they were rejected? And as far as the Kharge trust itself is concerned, what are the criteria on which the site was given? I think these are some of the relevant
I think perhaps the government in power in Karnataka needs to remember the fact that whenever it comes to sites for civic amenities, they hold special significance, as has already been ruled out by the Karnataka High Court. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on Plain Speak. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching. Up next is the Hard Facts with Rahul Shivshankar.